Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis.
And I'm Ethan.
And this is
Monster Comic Reviews.
That's right. It's the second half of the third week of August. We're going to jump right into some exciting comics.
Yeah, exciting. Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue 23.
Liefeld-esque.
Yeah.
Art-wise.
The only thing they don't have is like 1,000 trillion teeth.
There's
not enough teeth in this comic, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, even on the cover, he's missing his feet, so...
I know. I could use some more pockets. And
pouches?
some more teeth.
Yeah.
But otherwise, there's nothing wrong with this book.
Yeah. Writing-wise, our last review of Red Hood was blah, 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 blah. That was the good version of the book. This is just... I don't want to tear the book apart anymore. Let's just say this.
It wasn't bad, it was really bad.
The good thing about Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue 23, is it confirms that it's made room for something else for us to read.
Yes, that is the only good thing about Red Hood.
Okay, next we're going to talk about Six Gun, issue 33.
A good book. A scary book.
Yeah.
Wow, Becky's Dreamtime Quest. That sounds like no fun at all.
Yeah, so we're like on the second or third issue of her being in
because it's still the ghost
having her ghost walk. And in this one, she's ran into General Hume and all of his guys and his wife, where he's in control of everything.
In a dimension where he won.
Yeah. So obviously he hasn't.
The
Skinwalkers jack him up. The Skinwalkers throw a spear through the window and stab him. He's like, oh, somebody's killing me in my own house. And he's like, and Becky just grabs the gun. And he's like, oh, you can't touch that, you're going to fry. And she's like, yeah, whatever.
I own this gun. Huh.
I love the last page. Now I have another page I want to own.
I could own lots of pages.
Yeah, but that last page of her walking along all badass of all of Hume's guys behind her, because they're going to go out and mess the Skinwalkers up. I think she has a chance of actually whacking the Skinwalkers.
I think she does too.
Big time. Especially with all those guys.
She has a freaking sixth gun. I mean,
yeah, but and all those
she
other
has
guys
a sixth
with her.
gun, and she has the other guns with her, except for freaking Miss Hume's gun, which is just creepy. I mean, the four, and people who know how to use them.
Yeah.
And then the sixth.
Yeah.
So, she's pretty. It's pretty.
I think it's kind of interesting. I think that Cullen Bunn, to some degree, is using this whole, ghost walk thing to tell a bunch of crazy stories using the characters that he already has. Because he had, knights in one of them, and dragons, and cavemen.
But, I like how...
I think this is going to finish up. Of course, then we have in the real world, you have that entire encampment of all those Indians.
Skinwalkers.
And them having to try and figure out how to deal with them.
That'll be interesting. Hopefully
so
Becky
it's 6 or 7 of them versus that entire village?
Yeah, hopefully Becky can whack a few from the astral plane.
Yeah.
Because, it's not like they're defenseless.
Yeah.
But
still... It's really unfortunate they don't have, that they didn't have, Sinclair with them. Because, he could shoot up an army and storm down into the place with this...
Exactly.
Mud people gun.
I'm like, why don't you have What? It's not like Sinclair didn't do anything.
Yeah, but he's staying where he knows he needs to be staying at.
True. Now we know do wax Becky or anything he's not aware. I love how the entire time, Miss and Mr. Hume are kind of making fun of Becky.
Right.
Right, the entire time.
Because she's all weak and everything, right.
And there's the end, right, after he's been run through, she stands up, she picks up a freaking gun, right, she's like,
Yeah,
and they're just like,
yeah. I'm gonna go take care of this as they're all...
Yeah, you just scared General Hume. I feel pretty proud about yourself.
Well, I do like where he's like, basically, him and his mom are basically informing him that, that she's in really bad straits there. We're gonna eat, but at some point I'm gonna pull out of you all stuff. And she's like, you know what? In the real world you lost. You're already dead, so you don't frighten me. I love that too. Becky, she's become such a serious badass.
Yep.
Badass hero. Yeah. She's pretty awesome. Great book. What would we rate this book?
I think I give it a solid 4.
I give it a solid 4 also. Excellent stuff. What are we?
Okay. Next up we have Supergirl issue 23.
Where Supergirl dies.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler! Sorry, Chloe. Chloe's off in the distance somewhere. She's not caught up yet. I get the whole cyborg Superman thing. Not really enjoying this book all that much right now. I'm tired of Supergirl not being badass. Why can't she be like the Becky from the last book we just talked about?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
you know, okay, to start out with, she's new. She's new to the whole thing. Okay, so she takes a little bit to get it all figured out. But we're 2 years into this book. She should have something figured out by now.
Yeah.
I guess.
I agree.
I mean, granted, she's poisoned right now, and so she's weaker. But still,
But still, that doesn't mean.
it's frustrating.
I mean,
It's frustrating that she ends up being a sucker.
you know, like, well, for instance, in the Trinity Wars, Superman is way weakened,
Right.
but his thinking's not impaired.
Right.
I mean, so
Right.
I don't know.
He's
I don't
still
think
not chump.
you can't use that as experience.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody robotic in the Superman universe has a big nasty creator in space. Wonder who it's going to be. Probably not Brainiac. I mean, that was just really obvious. It's like, oh, your creator's
Yeah.
coming. I'm like, oh gee, who's it gonna be? It's either going to be Lex Luthor, which is highly unlikely because
Right.
he's still
Way
in
out
prison
space. Right.
and they're in the middle of space,
Right.
or it's gonna be Brainiac.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so that was kind of not a shocker
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. So I'm hoping once we get past the cyborg storyline, we're gonna get into something different.
Better.
Well,
finally.
I mean, whatever they bring her, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna bring her back as something completely different because
I don't know.
she's currently disintegrated,
Yeah.
and they're gonna use the disintegrated mass that's left over to make. Well, they made.
To make her father. Whoops.
Yeah.
But you feel like a
The other part of the spoiler.
asshole.
Yeah. The fact that
Cyber Superman is
Cyborg Superman is supposedly
her dad.
her dad.
Okay.
I don't know that I believe that yet. But
Good job. I'm not sure either.
yeah.
But
Anyway,
still.
we'll rate this book.
I guess I'd give it a very 3.
Yeah, week 3.
I'd give it a 3.
For sure. Okay, next we're going to talk about Superman Unchained issue 3.
I don't know, this I don't have any problems with this book, but there's nothing really. I mean, it's better than like Supergirl, where I don't have any real problems with Supergirl. Nothing about it really interests me. But because I guess I feel like the writings.
Right.
I mean, but I don't know. It doesn't really interest me that much, right? Especially since now that Wraith is like, oh, but I'm gonna have to kill you, and I'm like, really? Can we have a Superman story that doesn't involve just one big knockout, drag out fight?
Well, it's not that yet,
But
though.
not yet, but okay, so Wraith is beating, in theory, Wraith can beat Superman, right? And he was just all, oh, dang, Superman, it's so nice to work with you. Too bad in a few minutes I'm gonna have to kill you.
He didn't say in a few minutes.
He's not, even then, whatever.
You're boiling it down too.
I guess, he's like, but he's like, oh, Superman, I'm gonna have to kill you. I mean, so that means at some point, Wraith and Superman are going to fight. And
Maybe.
then, I don't know why they wouldn't, if Wraith's going to kill him.
Maybe not. Wraith is obviously has his own thinking capacity. He can make his own decisions.
Yeah.
He works with the government. Maybe this is the one time that ultimately he may not. You don't know.
I guess.
So you're basically writing this off as a Superman book. It's going to be blah blah blah. Even though Scott Snyder's writing it.
Yeah.
You don't trust Scott Snyder to write something more than just generic storyline?
I did up until now. I mean,
What in this has proved that it's that generic storyline? It's presenting the possibility of it,
I guess.
but it hasn't happened.
I guess, but it just, I mean, I guess what I said earlier is not true. I'm interested in the Lois Lane part of this book. With Lois
Who the
Lane.
hell is that guy that was on the coast? Lois Lane crashes in an airplane. She flies the airplane down, which is cool. She clips some power lines because she knows if they don't clip the power lines, no one's going to go
Nobody will
looking for them because they have no idea where they're at. But as they're crashing into the water, probably going to drown and die in the Arctic water or the cold Atlantic water. And then some guy on the shore going.
Yeah, I'm sure what's up with that. That interests me, but I don't know. I just
Okay, I'm interested in the Superman Wraith story because I don't believe that Scott Snyder is going to give us something that blasé as it's just going to be a punch out at the end of the thing. So I'm interested in that. I'm curious to see where it goes. You have no faith, I do.
Yeah, that's true.
Because so far he hasn't screwed anything up for us yet.
No, he hasn't. True, but still, I guess. I mean, it's only issue 3, so.
Yeah. And you've already decided how it's going to be, and are hating it because of how it's going to be.
I didn't
not
say
because
that
of how
I
it
did,
is.
though.
Oh, you're like, oh, it's going to be so blasé, it's so generic. Oh, it's going to be this fine. Oh, yeah.
But
That's what you're implying.
I guess. I mean, not really, but I don't know. I just feel like, with all Superman stories, it just has this great potential instead of just being this really interesting, complicated story with Superman. It feels more like it's just going to be a big fight where
And I don't think it's
Superman's
gonna
the underdog, because apparently Superman being the underdog is just slightly more interesting than Superman being the top dog. And then they'll fight, and then Wraith will probably kick the crap out of Superman, and then Superman will come back and win. But not saying that's going to happen. It just seems like that's probably what's going to happen.
And I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so because I have faith in Scott Snyder's going to tell us a different story than the story we've seen 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Okay. What would we rate this book?
I think I'd give it a solid 3.
I give it a solid 3 off. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, despite the fact that, when I said,
I mean,
I'd still enjoying it.
I agree. I agree that if at the end of this it really does just come down to a big punch out, the next issue or the issue after that, and that's all it is, then boo on this series, and I'll be dropping it right away because I'm not that big of a Superman fan.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what Scott Snyder's going to do with Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of story is going to be told. So, what's next?
Next up is Wonder Woman, issue 23.
Wow.
Oh, dang.
This is such an awesome book. I mean, I love the book. Basically every issue anyway. It's extremely enjoyable. This one basically ties off the whole her relationship with War, her relationship potentially. Well, who knows what it's going to be like now with the firstborn. This comes to a big giant heated battle. She throws off her bracers, goes all demigod. It's a few smash around. I don't know how enthusiastic I am about that part of it. That fight to me seemed, I don't know. I mean, she decides that brute force isn't going to cut it, so she puts her bracers back on. And ultimately, at the end of this thing,
School's here.
Huge spoiler. If you're reading trades, fast forward.
Yeah, skip
past until the next animation shows up or whatever.
Because
but in this. War is fighting against the First. The First is going to kill War. And if the First kills War, then he will become the God of War. He basically says, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to become the God of War. So Wonder Woman
stabs him.
Kills War. Runs a spear through War and into the First. Crippling the First and basically killing War. And War basically says, thank you. This was the plan all along, really.
Yep.
I mean, so partially, I think, because how Greek gods are and whatnot, I think he duped her.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
As much as they're kind of don't like each other, fight with each other, / our friends, / we're, teacher and student.
I think Wonder Woman
it was that Greek god duped.
Yep.
She got duped into she's the god of war.
Yep.
She's the god of war.
What about that job description doesn't sound like fun?
It's gonna be awesome. She's always this ambassador of peace. I mean, she fights when she has to, but she's always the ambassador of peace.
And now she's the god of war.
It's gonna be incredible.
Oh, dang.
It's gonna be incredible. And they, haul War's body off to hell, basically, and she leaves the First alive. That could be bad.
Yeah.
It'd be really, really, really cool to see what her duties are going to be like now as the God of War.
Yep.
Very, very excited to see this comic goes now, because it's going in places that just never ever thought that it would go in. Mind blowing. I also thought it was pretty touching, the part where she's like, what does War call her all the time? Little one?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And she's like, calling me the little one?
And he really wants him to call that again, because he's not calling her that anymore. Because she's not. But excellent book. I give it a 5.
Yep, me too. 5 all the way.
It was an awesome book. Okay, last book we're going to talk about is X-Men, with no adjectives around it. Issue 4.
X-Men, period. Not Storm the X-Men. No,
what you think?
Some sass. Okay, Rogue is a lot less cool than I thought she was. Okay, I mean, Rogue was always really cool.
It was shocking.
Because she has a freaking super strength and she flies around. Okay, so that
that
already makes her, a threat, and then she can leech for other people's powers. Dang. That's awesome. But apparently she can't fly her super.
Yeah, somewhere that happened.
Yeah.
And I haven't figured that out yet. If somebody can tell me, okay, this is when I've talked on Twitter, people kind of said, oh yeah, this happened, kind of a vague idea of, but at some point she lost her power. I want to understand, I don't really understand read the comments, but I want somebody to explain to us
why
she lost her powers. I mean, is it just finally, after all these years, the Carol Danvers residue that was in her, the Captain Marvel residue that was in her, finally completely wore off? She finally lost the rest of it?
Or what?
Is that what happened? Or did something else strip her of the powers? I mean, I still like Rogue. I like Rogue as a person.
Yeah, she's so cool.
She's not near the badass. I mean, for me, if I was going to pick a team, X-Men, Rogue's always the first person I'd pick generally because of the fact she can fly in, super strength, and snatch your powers instantaneously. Come on, how do you beat that?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, now she doesn't quite have that.
Yeah.
So anyway, but there's that. What else about the book?
I like the bit with Jubilee and Wolverine too.
Jubilee, Wolverine, part of the story is excellent. It's more to do with Jubilee taking the baby, which I can't remember his name, some weird Japanese or something, sounding kind of name, Zoho or whatever the heck it is. I don't remember. It's something goofy like that. Anyway, taking her around to some of the places that she enjoyed as a child, even though she's not going to be able to enjoy them the same way as a child with her, and the whole mother thing, and Wolverine kind of going, yeah, you know, family's great, and that was, all that part of the book I really enjoyed. The whole let's save the plane thing felt like filler to me.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really matter, you know, like, oh, we gotta have some action in the book, because if it was a whole book of just Wolverine and Jubilee, someone might hate it, which is ridiculous. It would have been 10 times better if the whole thing would have been that.
Yeah.
Little piece in there that was somewhat interesting is the kind of conflict between Rachel Summers and Storm.
Yeah,
and Storm about the whole leadership thing, because, you know, how do you trust a leader who's willing to, like, you know, kill off one of... Right.
Yeah.
You know, so
I can get behind that.
But I didn't really care for the whole superheroic thing. It was just kind of...
Yeah, it was like, okay. I mean, it just was.
Yeah.
I don't know, parts of the... Not that it was bad, but parts of the dialogue between Rogue and Rachel Summers, parts of it to me
Rogue
felt...
or Storm?
Or not, yeah, Storm. Sorry. Parts of the dialogue between Storm and Rachel Summers felt like it could have easily taken place in like a high school hallway.
Well, yeah, there's a little bit of that going on, though,
it just
right?
feels like, yeah, exactly, yeah. But still,
I think
I
that's
don't
how
know.
people are, though.
Yeah,
When
true.
you start having an argument over who's going to be in charge of something, you kind of fall into those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind it that much, I
Yes,
guess.
no, I didn't mind it either.
Yeah.
I just like, oh, yeah, no, been here, done that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what would we rate X-Men?
I think, I don't know.
I give it
I'm
a
gonna
3.
give it a 3. If it just been Wolverine and Jubilee, I think I would have given it
A
a
4.
4.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. And the art is taking a drop.
Because-
I'm not a big Lopez fan.
Yeah.
Some people are. I'm not a big Lopez fan. The guy who was doing it before, I really liked. You know,
His
when
baby
he was
is not
when
nearly as
he
cute
was
now.
right. It's still a cute baby.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not.
It's not
cute.
a
It's not.
cute
It's not
baby.
the cutest baby in comics.
Yes.
Which is what it was. The issues prior to this.
Yes.
A few more issues. The Dotsons take over in art. I'm excited about that. So I'm gonna hang on for a while. See what happens and whatnot.
Cool.
Even if it is a $4 book.
Yeah.
So that's it for this month's worth of comics.
Yep.
Or months. This week's worth of comics.
Yeah.
And
Dang, I hope not.
yeah. So we'll be back in days, I'm sure, because at some point we're going to get it back on track. Our reviews keep getting later and later, but hopefully we'll get them squared away here.
Yeah.
Of course, with school starting, who knows. Anyway, see you, everybody.